making just a general comment to all of us about this game?
First of all, it was heartbreaking. I think we dug ourselves a hole in the first quarter, and quite simply, we just couldn't get out of it. I thought we just exerted a tremendous amount of energy and effort to overcome that first quarter. If you look at the third and fourth quarter, we won both quarters, but when you go down 9, 10, and 11 points in the first quarter, it's just hard to overcome. But I commend my young ladies for continuing to fight. And when we got down 18 in the second quarter, we could have laid down, but we didn't do it. We had chances, but every time we had a chance, in the second half, we either gave up an offensive rebound or committed a turnover, and those things happen. But I thought overall the effort was there. We just made a lot of mistakes in that first quarter, and we couldn't overcome it.
Did you do anything differently after you're down 18 to scratch your way back in? Did you change up defense? Did you look for a different offensive attack?
A little bit defensively. We were losing shooters, in our press. Our rotations were a little slow, so we couldn't press the way we wanted to. I think they got off 3 or 4 3-pointers in that first quarter. So we played a lot more man-to-man going forward. I thought we did a better job of defending the three-point line. So we did some things differently from that standpoint. I think when we got in foul trouble, especially, with our bigs, with C and Key, I think when they came back in, they were trying to be aggressive, but at the same time trying not to foul. And I think a lot of times it caused them to somewhat play just a little bit timid. And I don't mean it in a negative way. They're both extremely aggressive, especially on the offensive and defensive glass. And I think that kind of impacted us tremendously.
In putting together your defensive game plan against this particular team, and of course you just played them the other day, there's no way you could have figured on 21 points from number 4. I mean, she's averaging 5 points a game. That had to have been a surprise.
Not really. I mean, she's a three-point shooter, and if you're a three-point shooter and you get into a rhythm and you're open, you're going to knock them down. And what happened in the first quarter, she got into a rhythm, and we had trouble, locating her, and she knocked them down, which is what three-point shooters do. So we're not surprised that she knocked them down. We're just surprised that we left her that open.
So, Erica, this is your graduate student. Okay. And so it's not your first time here. I was just looking at some of the numbers. Gia was a freshman last year. Sophomore, she didn't play like a sophomore. She played like a true veteran. Let the players just talk about her. Would you go ahead and just tell us what Gia meant to today's, to your game today?
Well, we knew coming here, we had experience already, and Gia being the point guard was an experienced point guard. So we was successful in the point of her directing us. We just couldn't finish with the execution.
I thought the first quarter, you guys were getting to the basket and getting good looks and missing, and not finishing. But then I looked and you were 50% in the first year, 8 out of 16. So it wasn't as bad as it felt. But for a while, it felt like, they're getting there and just not making it. Did that have to be a little bit frustrating at that point?
Well, we talked about it. We were 8 for 16, but we missed 5 layups, point-blank range layups. And what happens with the way we play, when we score, it allows us to set up our press. When we don't score, we can't set up our press, and we also know that we just missed the layup. So from an intensity standpoint, it's hard to have a short-term memory when you know that you've missed a shot that you normally make. So it affects you on the defensive end, which affected us in transition as well. I thought in the second half we did a better job of converting, but, in the first quarter, it's the first game, conference tournament. We get wide open looks. You're going to miss some. It happens, And like I said before, we got down because we missed, not because we missed the layups, but because we wasn't really rotating in transition after the missed layup. So you go down 9 or 10 points and you're down 14 at halftime. It's tough to come back against a team that's also tough on the offensive and defensive glass.
Questions from anybody?
Yeah, Erica, can you just talk about just coming back to Nashville this year? First year at TSU, transferred from Kansas, first team, all OVC, all newcomer team. Just talk about the experience as a whole, coming back to TSU, coming back to Nashville.
I feel like it was a pretty good decision, especially me coming home or being at home. I get to play in front of my family, do it for my city. So I feel like
coming here was a good idea, and I had fun.
Back-to-back 10-win seasons for you, Coach. I know we talked about this yesterday a little bit. First time going to the tournament 2 years in a row since 14, 15, 15, 16. What's the plan moving forward?
Winning more than 10 in a year, maybe 20. 20 sounds good. I told you we got to have higher expectations. You know, I didn't come here to win 10 games a year. I know where we came from, and I understand it's a process, and we're falling in love, you know, with the journey. But at the same time, I have high expectations and low patience. So we got to continue to strive, and we'll do that.